We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor. Complete side swipe now. I want to talk about Bathwater.
What, you've had a bath, have you?
I've had a bath. I've had a yearly bath. No, and it's two things. This is partly linked to the fact that Lord, who I really like, has got a new album coming out next weekend, right? And not that I was going to buy it on vinyl, but she keeps dropping odd tracks, and people are already saying it's back to how her first two albums were, which is the ones I like. I didn't like the third album very much, I'll be honest with you. So there's 3 tracks available now that you can listen to, and they're good. One of them became number 1 when the single that released. But Lord is releasing a limited edition Bathwater vinyl album, and I thought, is it really Bathwater? Because do you remember the film Saltburn, not that long ago?
Yeah.
Now, you can buy, again, limited edition, there was a movie soundtrack, vinyl record, and it had Bathwater in the vinyl.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
and I know, the reason I know this, that one of my children has an investment, paid 50 quid for that album when it came out. I'm not actually bothered, looking at it, and it wobbles, in the vinyl, so it's quite an interesting thing. And I'm thinking, is Lord's
album... Has it
album...
gained value now? Have you looked?
Oh, it's gone up, yeah, it's 70 quid now.
Okay.
Maybe more, I don't know, at least 70 quid.
Right.
And I'm thinking, because it's 40 odd quid is this Bathwater special edition. I'm thinking, is it Bathwater like the Saltburn album? No, it's just Bathwater coloured, right? So, but there is a thing about Bathwater out in Medialand, because Sydney Sweeney, do we all know who Sydney Sweeney is? Right, Sydney Sweeney, actress, she was in Euphoria, if you've not seen the series Euphoria with Zendaya, great, there's two series, I think, of it, really good, edgy, all that sort of stuff. So she was in that, she's done quite a few movies now, so she's a hot property.
Okay.
Right. So, Sydney Sweeney, bless her, movie star, has launched her own soap. And in the middle of her bar of soap is, guess what?
Bathwater.
Exactly. Limited, I think it was limited edition to 700. I don't know how much they're going for now, but they're all sold out in minutes.
How is that even a thing?
I know, that's what I mean. What's the thing? So when I have a bath night, do I keep my bathwater and we'll do something with it? I mean, it beggars belief, doesn't it? Really, I sort of get the Saltburn thing, because there's that scene in Salt. You've seen Saltburn. There's a scene, and that's what the bathwater thing's about. It caused a lot of fuss at the time, didn't it? But anyway, yeah. So bathwater is a thing.
I'm just looking. Yeah, 5,000 bars of the soap.
5,000 was it?
Yeah.
Right.
$8 each. Quickly sold out.
And
now they're priced as high as $1,600.
Yeah, that's not surprising, is it?
I'm just trying to see what's the message, really. Don't know. Maybe try it. Although we don't. Well, we do have a bath, but it's usually
I prefer a bath.
Right.
Jane likes to shower. I prefer a bath. So I have a bath at least once a year.
Bizarre.
No. Sunday night is bath night. Along with Wednesday.
Oh, it used to be when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Should we do recommendations? Because I've got quite a few.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, right, I'm a massive fan of The Last of Us, the game. I'm not a massive gamer, but The Last of Us game, part 1 and 2, I have played numerous times. Okay. Actually, part 2 is so long, I've only played it twice. TV series dropped a few weeks ago on Now TV or Sky, if you've got Sky. right? I finally, for a month, bought Now TV so I could watch series 2 of The Last of Us, and so it's a recommendation. It's not 5 stars. It's probably 3.5 stars if I was going to give it any stars.
Okay.
I actually think, slightly annoyingly, it's too close to the game. So they've almost taken, because you know about The Last of Us, post-apocalyptic zombie type.
Yeah, I
things.
started to watch the first series and couldn't get into
it.
Didn't land
It's
with
not
me.
for everyone. So, and the first series was quite clever in the fact that it nodded to the game, but there were certain elements of it which were completely different. They'd taken and run with it. This second series, first of all, Ellie still looks like a 14-year-old, and she's now 19. So I always thought that Bella Ramsey was miscast, if I'm honest.
Right.
Liked her in Game of Thrones, and I've seen her in a couple of movies, but I thought she was miscast in that. But they are stuck with her now for another 2 series. And it's almost, like I said, just too close, but it is definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
So it's a recommendation, really. Okay. Best way to watch it is, if you haven't got access to Sky TV, Now TV for a month, which is an app, costs you £9 or £9.99, and then you can cancel it. And that's the way I've done it. So I've cancelled it now. The good thing about that is that if it's, like the next series of Last of Us isn't going to be till 2026. Apparently, they haven't even written the script yet. So there may be other things coming along, but certainly you can cancel it until there's something you want to watch.
Okay, maybe I'll give it another go. There's Pedro Pascal. I quite like him.
Yeah, he's good.
I did watch it a long time ago, and it was slow, and I wasn't in the mood, and I never went back to it. So I think you've got to. I guess it's a builder, right?
Yeah,
it's not.
It's about the relationships. Yeah.
So I'll give it another go.
And actually the sets are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's probably why it's going to take 18 months between series, because there must be a lot of CGI in there, but they look amazing. They look, post-apocalyptic and all the rest of it. You can probably hear the rain, because it's decided to rain today, which is no bad thing for the garden. So generally, so my next recommendation is music, and it is Brian Eno's got a new album out. Have you heard it? It's called Liminal. Now, Brian Eno.
I've seen a trailer. He's done it with somebody else.
He's done it with Beatty Wolf. She's a singer.
Right.
Now, some of the early Brian Eno records are spoilt for me, because I'm sorry, Brian, but he can't sing. And I have met him. I've had coffee with him,
Oh, yeah.
and he's a nice man, but he can't sing.
Did you tell him that?
And absolutely not. I was a bit starstruck. There's a few of us sat around, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, I'm sat with Brian Eno. It was a bit like that. It was he came and talked at a conference in Leeds. So I was a bit starstruck, which doesn't happen very often. But I'm sat there going, and he's going, sort of think, no, not quite, but anyway. So that's definitely worth a listen.
Okay.
And it is quite nice to have songs where you've got a lady with a very good voice singing. So rather than just his ambient stuff where he's not, it's just instrumental. So my next recommendation is on the BBC iPlayer. So those of you who are not in the UK may not be able to see it. And I can't remember, does it say who was it?
Adam Curtis.
Adam Curtis. You know,
I've seen loads of his stuff. I really like him.
I
only watch some of his other stuff. It's good.
I'm going to say that's my next thing to do, actually. But Shifty, it's from the early 80s to the late 90s. I'm on this. So each episode is a documentary film in its own right. They're about an hour and a half each one of them. They are absolutely captivating and absolutely fascinating. And I hadn't realised how much Margaret Thatcher killed this country economically with her policies. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to economics at the time, or politics for that matter. But I mean, the way that
Oh, I definitely have to watch that. That'd be something for me to tune into
absolutely
in my hotel
brilliant.
room
And
this week.
You can't, and you have to watch it because he keeps bringing things up, and there's sometimes there's bits of information overlaid over bits of film and stuff like that.
So if you do like that, the first thing that I got into with him, because one of the guys from Massive Attack is involved with him, I think does the music in one. It was called
The music's really good, actually.
Called Can't Get You Out of My Head, and that was delving deeper into history. So it talks about Chinese dynasties. It talks about Eisenhower and the Middle East just after the Second World War. And it's really good. It's done in that same way. Glitchy TV, music behind it, mixture of real footage, and it's really, really good. So I'm going to watch that. I haven't seen that trailer.
Apparently, the BBC don't understand him, but because he's been so successful with the amount of people that watch it, they just allow him to actually go through their back catalogue, and it must take forever.
And it's all on iPlayer. The Bitter Lake is another one. It's really, really good stuff.
So there's really 5 of these. They're absolute. I mean, like I say, I've watched 4 of them. We watched one a night, and the 5th one will be tonight, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's just amazing.
I'll get stuck into that.
And we were pausing at certain points, and Jane were having a discussion about some of the stuff, because he goes into stuff like the housing policy, and about the fact that we've got it now, but people can't afford their mortgages because of it's the first time we've had negative equity, and all of that sort of stuff. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I'll give that a go.
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
So Shifty.
I like it.
On BBC iPlayer.
Something I've stumbled across actually,
a
music one, which I didn't think I'd like. So, The Cure released an album at the beginning of the year, late last year.
I didn't,
this
but
year. So they did, and I kind of dip in and out The Cure. Not really they've always kind of been there, but never really liked them. But there's been a remix album done of the last album, and the remix is done by people like Paul Oakenfold, Orbital, Daniel Avery. So that was the one I heard that drew me into the album. Then I realised actually some really good stuff here. Fortet, who I really like.
I like Fortet. I've got a couple of their albums.
Loads of people. Trent Moller, Muramasa. So loads of people. They really pulled some big names. Have remixed The Cure's last album. Mogwai. So really good stuff. And so it's obviously The Cure, because his voice is obviously there's no getting away from Robert Smith's voice, right? And it's got the dark tones of what they do, but reimagined by current-ish electronic artists. It's really nice. Give it a listen. It's good.
You can probably hear the rain. It really is absolutely pouring down.
Cool down now, right? Thankfully.
Well, you need a hat. You need a brolly mate before we get out of here. So the next thing I've got 2 more. One is an album which you will not have heard of. It's sort of classical. Every fortnight I'm on a composer's Zoom call, and this is one of the guys who's we were all asked to put our albums in a list of so other people can listen to it. But a guy called Ross White, and it's Whyte, and he's done this album. Which is sort of very piano led, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's called Providence.
It's current. It's fresh.
Current. I think he put it out about a fortnight ago.
Okay.
And one of the conversations we were having was he doesn't quite know how to tour it, because he's got some female vocalists on there. One of them lives in Canada, so she can't come over and do it. He's got no budget to actually tour it. So and that was one of the things we were all trying to come up with ideas to try and help him tour it. He's up in well, that was what I'd said. Really, fundamentally, you can do this with technology. You can do it on a low budget, because I think it would have to be low budget. But no, it's a really good album. It's definitely worth a listen. It won't get picked up by any of the Guardian or any of those sort of things, really. And
it's on all the main platforms?
It's on all the main. Well, I listen to it on Apple Music, but I'm going to buy the album from him, and I'll go to his website and buy it. You can go to his website and I'll stick all this stuff, all these links will be down below. So I've started to take your approach of listening to an album and then buying it on CD.
If it sticks,
I mean, that's the good thing about streaming services, is the fact that you can listen to it, and if you really love it, you can then go and buy it.
Yeah, because we've all bought duds looking at because you're a fan of a label, or the cover's interesting, or
I used to
on the back of a single, and then the rest.
I used to
of
listen to a single and go and buy the album,
Yeah.
and some of them were terrible albums, really. And the best thing on it is the single that you love, you know. And actually, while we're talking about that, I bought an album this week because I'm a big fan of the Greatest Showman. Have you seen the Greatest Showman?
I'm shaking my head because
You need to see the Greatest Showman. I'll tell you why you need to see the Greatest Showman. I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest with you. When the Greatest Showman first came out, and everybody was raving about it. I went, Barnum, it must be crap, be rubbish. I was really sniffy about it. Then I did go and see it. Okay, you need to see it. I think it's probably on streaming services for free. If not, I'll lend you the DVD.
I'm all right.
No, you need to see it.
I don't like musicals.
Yeah, well, you'll like this one.
No.
You will. Two things about it. From a film point of view, a lot of the build-up is actually done in song, which is rare in a musical. Usually, I hate musicals where you've got somebody telling you a lot of stuff, or they sing the whole story in, you know, and it's quite operatic. I can't be doing any of that stuff. That's not what happens here. And the two guys who wrote it, Ben Pask and Justin Paul, really know what they're doing in terms of writing pop songs. Because the songs, there's a couple of that are slightly cringy, but fundamentally most of the songs on the album are actually really, really good pop songs with quite a modern approach. Having said that, on streaming in the car, it sounded terrible. It's sort of, everything sort of starts quite quiet, so you turn it up and then the stereo isn't great. So that's why I bought the CD, because I listen to it a lot on streaming, but we always say that it doesn't sound that great when I think you should listen to it.
The only exception I'd make with musicals would probably be the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Mel. Mel.
No.
That's his name. That's probably the only.
But
Mel.
put it on your Spotify. I can't even say Spotify. Don't buy Spotify.
Rhymes with Grotify.
Put it on your Grotify. Give it a listen, and then we'll have a conversation. And I think you should watch it. I've even been and done the sing along. And my story of the sing along was, I'm sat in the cinema singing along like you are at a sing along, and the woman next to me is going, and I actually said to her, "You do know it's a sing along. That's what the bouncing balls along the bottom." She didn't get it. So I bought that, and it's I bought it second hand for £3.
Nice. What, a charity shop?
No. eBay. One of those sort of companies that buy CDs when you don't want them. And lastly, but not least, I have been reading a book for the last month called The Synchrotron. Okay, so this is an independent author. There's no big publisher. She's self-releasing it. Her name is Rain Hunter. She says the publication date is the 7th of July, but I think you can get the Kindle version from the 1st of July. So it's coming out in a week, 10 days. It's, like I say, it's called The Synchrotron. It's about zombies. Now, I'm a fan of a zombie, but it's quite funny. She's obviously we've had a couple of emails. Because the reason I got it early was I had to do a review on it, and I did a review, and I gave it 5 stars. It's really good. So she sent me a very nice email saying, "You made my day" and all that sort of stuff, and would I be prepared to look at her next book when she's written it? I went, yes, great. I thought it was great. She's clearly a Douglas Adams fan, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because she mentioned about Thanks for All the Fish and all that sort of stuff. And it's not as funny as Douglas Adams in that sort of way, but there's a humour running all the way through it. It's a bit gory in places. But the thing that's quite important, it's based in a science institution in France. That's what the synchrotron is, right? So the science in it is real. So they're trying to come up with a cure for these. They're not flesh-eating. They're organ-eating zombies. Okay. Now I wouldn't normally read a book about zombies, to be fair. It wouldn't really, but actually I thoroughly enjoyed it, and in fact so much so that when we emailed, she sent me a prequel short story which I haven't read. I haven't had a chance to read it, so I'm looking forward to that. Right. So Rain Hunter, The Synchrotron, buy it. because she's an independent author, just trying to make a living really, without a publisher and without
Very good.
publishing in advance really. So that's
Is there
all
an
of my. That's
Is there an
all-
audible version? Do you know? Is it just print?
I don't know actually. I will ask her.
Okay.
I said once I'd done the review I'd send her a link, so I'll send her a link to this, but I will ask her if there's an audible version. I suspect not, if she's self-funding it, because doing that is quite.
Need a bit of production. And,
It's quite. It takes a lot of time. I did finish off listening to Bruce Springsteen's story, which was 18 hours. It was quite interesting actually. Difficult relationship with his father, and he's quite honest about, his mental health issues. I didn't realise that Bruce Springsteen had bouts of depression, bless him. So yeah, but that was I prefer to listen to that than read it, if I'm honest. But anyway, I no longer have Audible. I had to cancel my subscription because it was free. Any other recommendations from you?
No, I'd say that was the one. What else have I added? No, I did like one of the singles off Little Sim's new album.
I don't really. She
I
hasn't
like
really.
her. She's a good actress, and she's good in her music's pretty good. There was a lead single,
I've
and I
not
thought,
really
this is really
listened to
good. So I listened to the whole album, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
So the single's good, but the album's maybe not.
There's a couple of good tunes on there, and it's well done, and it's very her, and it well produced, lots of guests on it, but it's just not an album that I'm not
Yeah.
a typical listener of Little Sims, but
No,
I kind of appreciate what she does. Yeah, the singles were good, but as an album as a whole, I probably wouldn't go back to it, if I'm honest.
I've been listening to some more power pop. I've been listening to Green Day,
Right.
mainly because I listened to Song Exploder, and they were explaining how they'd done Basket Case, which was obviously their massive hit in the 90s, wasn't it? And I hadn't listened to Green Day for such a long time, and I do like that power pop stuff. So Green Day, Army of Freshmen, bands like that, and it was great to actually go back and listen to it.
So
They're really good pop songs.
They're all playing that Download Festival, aren't they?
Are they?
Have you seen all the rage about that rock band called Sleep Token? Have you
No.
seen them? So they all wear masks, so they're British.
Right.
You don't
yes,
know
I've
their
heard of this.
identities.
I didn't know the name.
He's called Vessel.
That's right, yeah.
So it's all
Yes.
this imaginary place.
Yes.
They talk about this imaginary world, this imaginary place. I mean, they're what I'd like. They're in the Billboard Top 100 in the US.
Yeah.
They've kind of gone global, but nobody knows who they are. They're the next big thing in metal,
Yeah.
because they're playing that Download Festival this week. But it's weird.
Yeah.
But there's always a
I
band
had
like
heard
that
about
pops
them.
up in metal world, isn't there? That's a bit.
It's all hair metal. Actually, one of the things that's about Shifty was there's Ozzy Osbourne saying about hair metal and all these different types of metal. He says, I don't understand any of it. I'm just doing my own thing here. Which is quite, and it was when he was taking drugs. Apparently, it said that he was playing his festival, and all of a sudden, just before arriving at the festival, he's there on stage giving it rock all. He tried to kill Sharon because he was so out of it on drugs.
Again, probably.
Yeah.
Well, Guns N' Roses are playing at the moment, aren't they? I think they're at Wembley this weekend. They're playing at Villa
I
Park.
liked Appetite for Destruction. Thought it was a really good album, but after that,
I'm not sure his voice is up to it these days.
really, his hero was Dan McCaffrey. Dan McCaffrey from Nazareth from the 70s.
Okay, yeah.
Now, growing up, I loved Nazareth. They had a massive hit with something called My White Bicycle, but they were a really good album band. And I've still got 2 or 3 of their albums on vinyl, and he has a very distinctive voice. And Axl Rose based his vocal style on the Scottish band, from the 70s. Hey, another piece of useless information that nobody needs. But so. Have we done ASCII, or have you thought of anything else, or is that it?
I think we're done.
We're done.
We've got 3 segments there.
We
I
have,
think
yeah.
We're good.
So, see you.
Episode 4 over and done with.
Yeah, that's it. We can. Well, you can relax. I'm going to edit it for the rest of the day. So we'll see you. I won't say we'll see you next week, but we might see you next week if we can get one in.
Sunday I can't do, but we'll figure out
Right. Okay.
whether we can. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes.
All right. Good stuff.
Thanks very much.
See you soon.
See you again. Cheers. Bye bye.